My name is Lucas. Allan, I guess. I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of my last name. That's why I always just kind of go with Lucas. Um, I love boxing. I met you through boxing, of course. We met during our little fight club during COVID. It was a great time. I'm a former strongman. I didn't make it super far or anything like that, just provincial level and Western Canadian level. I was third in Western Canada for under 200 pounds in strongman, which isn't a huge title, but it's good. Something to say.
What are you talking about?
I know. I'm sorry.
That is
I
huge.
I have I have an issue with that. But yeah, no, it's I did that, and I did a little bit of like amateur bodybuilding. I say amateur bodybuilding as in I never stepped on a stage. I did not full. I did contest prep a little bit when I was younger, when my buddies were getting ready for competition, but never actually stepped on stage. I teased Orlando about coming to get him to coach me. I don't know how many different times, and it just never really happened. So,
And who's Orlando?
he owner of Anytime Fitness, and they used to run a bodybuilding company here called Agile Fat Loss. Him and his, I believe, ex now. I don't know. They ran Agile Fat Loss, and they did put on like posing seminars and whatnot. And then of course they would coach you through your competition and your nutrition and your prep and all that jazz. So I wanted him to be my coach for bodybuilding, which is why I kept teasing him. Hey, next year is going to be the year. Next year is going to be the year. Oh, just wait until I like put on this much mass or whatever. And it never happened. So, but, props to him. He always listened, and he's always willing to actually hop in the gym with me too. Cause I worked out at Rosewood there too. And he was just always willing to check out what I was doing and ask questions. So he was a good guy too. Yeah, sorry, I rambled on about that.
No, that's good. That's good, man. Because like that's the thing. Um, like since I've known you and what I've known about you, you've kind of dabbled in everything.
I tried, like, yeah, jack of all trades, master of none, really.
Yeah. But like Matt, you are a master in like the things I've learned from you in fitness is like probably more than I've like obviously we've hung out a lot and
Yeah,
we've
of
spent a
course.
lot of time together. So like but I've learned more from you in fitness than probably anybody.
That's high praise.
Well, I mean like when we started lifting, like kind of like how to hit certain things, how to like lift it properly, how to not cheat, how to like isolate certain muscles, and like you say things I don't even know what you're actually saying half the time. So it's like in that way, I think I've learned a lot from you. You know, like even how you work out. You know, like you don't have to go heavy all the time. You just got to get those reps in, hit those
Well,
spots.
even some of the biggest bodybuilders, really, they never really go heavy all the time. That's just going to wreck themselves. And if your goal is just to be better overall, bodybuilding is going to help that in a sense. So I take a lot of that stuff from your Jay Cutlers, who never squatted above 225. His words, not mine. um, it it's about the perceived effort with those kind of things, and trying to put as much strain on the isolated muscle as you can without, of course, completely tearing it right off. um, and I've tried through a lot of trial and error. Like, I've messed up both my knees, all this stuff. I had to learn it because I was that guy in the gym that was at Fit for Less, setting off the lunk alarm every chance he got just to see if somebody would come say something. I was that guy because I thought that was the way to build muscle, because that's all I saw. I grew up with the pumping iron and all that stuff. And you see that that's how you get big. But you learn as you go, and it's the old guys start to make a lot more sense the
So
older you get.
I guess with that, like, what is the biggest changes you've made to your training from when you were like a teenager, early 20s to now?
Well, I don't train 7 days a week anymore. I used to go literally every day. I worked in a gym. It was really easy. I probably hit closer to anywhere between 3 to 4 days a week now. Uh, that would probably be my major one. I used to be in there for about 3 hours at a time. Yeah. I thought, the more I put in there and the more I can do, the bigger I was going to get. And yeah, it paid off when I was younger. But as you get older, the recovery just doesn't happen. And when I was younger, I guess I can admit this on camera. When I was younger, I was enhanced. I was on steroids. So it was a lot easier to recover doing things not so properly because the steroids helped me out in that sense. They were there for that recovery. They didn't build the muscle for me. I still had to eat. I still had to train all the time, but they definitely helped in that recovery sense because I was only sleeping, 5, 6 hours a night because I was young and partying. I was
Mhm.
still in that phase and I was working in a bar and still in my head about just be wanting to be the biggest guy around. So it wasn't so much thinking smart. It was, oh, I'll just listen to the other biggest guys around. And the other biggest guys around were not teaching me the greatest ways either. So it ended up, what ended up ended the bodybuilding stuff really was me tearing my meniscus on my knee in the back alley of Ironworks doing very incorrect strongman slash bodybuilding stuff. Like we were training things that no strongman would ever do, in a like what vertical horizontal in a horizontal plane. Sorry, I'm bad at that. In a horizontal plane, like I was doing like side steps with plate, like stuff football players do. And I'm not a football player, and nor have I done a lot of that, the skating stroke stuff, because again, I'm not a hockey player either. So when I did that, of course, and I'm using a big 45-pound plate, my knee just snapped out the one side, and that really shifted everything because Mary was carrying me around the house, and I felt useless. I could not walk around my house. Like right before that, I was squatting 500 pounds. Suddenly, I can't walk. That's what really shifted me into wanting to learn more. I had taken my CanFit Pro up to a certain point. Before that, I did all their course at Cosmo, and then I also did the one-on-one with the coach in the gym afterwards. But I just chose not to renew it, just because if anybody knows anything about CanFit Pro, it's a weekend course. It's honestly, at a, we should learn it at a high school level. And I'm not knocking on CanFit Pro saying it's a terrible thing. I'm more knocking on the education system because I believe the things that CanFit Pro taught me were things that we should be taught as a basic human, and which is why I share a lot of that information for free. I have a hard time charging people, and you know that I'm an ISSA certified personal trainer now. I've barely charged anyone for anything because I have a really hard time believing that fitness should be behind a paywall.
Right.
And I believe the things that I learned, I don't have any right to charge for them because I'm just trying to help people. And I understand the whole, you have to help yourself too, to get paid. But at the same time, my coaches have always kind of showed me that money has never really been the goal of training. And that's kind of what I try to instill in my own coaching now, is just more or less helping people be better in whatever way I can,
Mhm.
really. And it doesn't have to be fitness. If they're having a really crap day, I'll literally just sit there and chat with them while they pretend they're doing exercises. It's that mentality that really turned me on to sport as a whole.
I think the nice thing about charging though is you get the right people.
True. No, I sent you a meme about
Yeah.
TikTok about that, and even my sister lives in Lloydminster, and comparatively small town, whatever, but it's still a city. She was making bagels, and I believe she still does. I'm not 100%. Sorry, Steph. Um, I believe she still does, but for the longest time, she was selling them dirt cheap, and she was getting people asking too much for stuff. They were leaving bad reviews, complaining that about her prices, even though they were already very low, and comparing her to like grocery stores essentially. And she's like, "What do I do? What do I do?" And I guess one of her mentors told her the same thing you're saying. She started charging a little bit more for her bagels. And suddenly those customers that were complaining just didn't come around, and she was gaining new customers. And everybody that was still staying around enjoyed it, and they were giving her a much better experience in that sense.
Mhm.
So I get that. Like, I'm not saying I want to like always do classes and stuff like that for free. I do understand you do have to charge if you're doing classes and one-on-ones and whatnot. But for like generalness, let's talk like Your buddy hasn't had a job in a while, whatever it may be. If he wants to come train with me, who am I to say no, man?
Yeah, yeah,
He's
yeah.
going through a rough patch. He'll get me back in some way. It doesn't have to be monetary value, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I agree with that
Yeah,
because I do the same
it's
thing.
it's a synergistic lifestyle. You know,
Yeah,
you're an electrician, for example, and a personal trainer and a boxing trainer. All these and own the
retired
shop.
electrician.
Yeah, retired electrician.
Don't
I'm gonna bring you out of retirement
say
for my
that
gar-
too loud,
I'm
buddy.
gonna bring you out of retirement for my garage because I need a few things done in there. But
Yeah, I was just staring at his garage the other day.
listen, my father-in-law did some work in there, and it works.
It works.
I wouldn't trust it fully to put like all the things on at once, which is why I want you to come take a look at it. But I don't want you to judge it at first glance because. But where I was going with that was essentially, yeah, it's I like the whole synergistic lifestyle of trading work for work. That's always been attractive to me in a sense of how I want to live my life. You know, if my buddy wants to come do something for me in exchange for my services, go for it. If he's got something he can offer, again, it doesn't have to be a professional trade. Some guy who knows more about tech, you want to come set up the tech in my house or do
Right.
something for me, come teach me something. That's valuable to me.
Yeah.
I'm learning something. You know, I used to like give my one buddy a bunch of beers if he came to electrical and stuff, and now I'm older. I'm like, man, I was a dick. Beer does not cover it. Okay, for certain people, you know, I wasn't buying him enough beer. You know, for the stuff I put him through, I wasn't buying him enough beer. So, but it's the that that general idea of I don't see money as the be it end all in that sense of value. I just want people to learn. I want people to learn how to box. I want people to learn how to do strongman, and I want people to learn how to be healthy themselves.
Yeah.
Because for so long, even when I was younger, like I'm a former fat kid. I was in grade 8. I was 5'2", 210 pounds, and that was during my first year of boxing. And there came a point even where my coach was flat out just like, "Oh, if you want to fight, you need to lose weight. You are 5'2". You are going to fight really big men." And I had no idea how to do it. And the internet wasn't so prevalent back then. There was no influencers back then to really teach us. So what did I look to? I looked to Arnold Schwarzenegger, Pumping Iron. My dad had a copy of Pumping Iron, so I watched that and I'm like, okay, let's learn how to do these exercises. And so then he took me to the Shaw Center and taught me how to lift weights and whatnot. Well, still wasn't getting skinny. I didn't know how to do it. So I did it the most unhealthy way I could. I limited myself to 500 calories a day. And if I ever went above that 500 calories, it would be half an hour on my elliptical at like a certain pace I had set for myself. And anything over that would be an extra half an hour no matter what. And that it was great for boxing because I was keeping my cardio up with the elliptical. But the actual weight loss, I feel like I probably messed a lot of stuff up during really vital periods of my growth, you know, because that should have been where when I was growing, but I was eating 500 calories a day and I was starving myself. My dad was so worried. He brought me to Popeye supplements. And again, some of those guys know what they're doing. Back then, I wouldn't say they knew anything because, again, supplements weren't a fad back then. Supplements were for the bodybuilders, and that was pretty much it. And I was 13 years old. This was 2008. This was quite a while ago. And my dad took me in there and asked them, he's not eating a lot. How is he going to get his proper nutrition? How can you do that? And this guy sold him animal packs, which I still take today because it's in me that I always need that kind of nutrition. There's much cheaper stuff out there, but for whatever reason, I take those animal packs every day. But that's what I was doing. I was just taking animal packs and 500 calories a day. And then I dropped down to 180. I took my very first fight at 180. I fought a guy in Brandon, Manitoba. He was 6'2", just like my coach said he was going to be. And he kicked my ass. And I just charged at him. Like, it was so funny because the crowd was literally chanting El Toro, El Toro, El Toro the whole time because I would just charge him. I was this fat kid just going. And I was sad afterwards. And Joe Stack, my coach, God bless him, afterwards was like, okay, Are you going to take this weight loss thing serious now? Well, then I went into overdrive. I was doing an extra hour of elliptical work every single day. And I was literally like, okay, I'm going 1 calorie over. I can't do that. I cannot do that. And I like obsessed over it. And that's when I dropped down to 112 in a course of a month. I went from 180 to 112. I took one fight at 112, dominated the guy because I wasn't a natural 112. I was way bigger than that. Yeah, completely dominated the guy. He was 7-0. This was the fight I was telling you about. That this kid, and again, we're kids. I can't judge the guy for his actions back then, but it was so funny because we're in the weigh-ins and he's flexing beside me, and he's like, and he's 7-0, and he's from Regina, and I'm fighting in Regina, and so this was Battle of the Prairies. I was like, oh, I'm gonna beat this kid right in front of his home crowd, and I did. Don't even remember his name. You could probably find it in my blue book, but I was so happy.
Did you
But
get belts back then?
no, it was all trophies and things. My first belt was with you. That was my first belt. I was pumped, man. I brought that thing home. I like showed it to my father-in-law, and he was like, nice.
That's awesome.
Yeah, no, back then it was just, I have a lot of random medals and trophies at my parents' house too. They kept a few of the trophies, which I'm fine with,
Mm-hmm.
I don't have a trophy room yet. We'll get there. But yeah, it's second fight went a lot better. But that being said, I was not a natural 112. So then I kind of stabilized around that 125, 132, and I fought there pretty much all throughout high school until I quit in grade 11, 2011. And then, I jumped up. That's when I started bodybuilding because like I got real fat after high school again. Not even real fat, just, not exercising.
Yeah.
I didn't know how to lift weights. I knew a little bit from my dad, but when my dad was trying to convince me to go to the gym, my mindset was I don't want to get too big because that's what a lot of people think when they see weights. They're like, oh, if I touch those weights, I'm gonna turn into a bodybuilder. Boy, was I wrong. But so I didn't do that, and then I was partying. It was my grade 12 year. Girls were everything to me instead of class or fitness for that matter. So I put on a bunch of weight in grade 12. I got real depressed. My girlfriend left me right before she was graduating. I didn't graduate because my head was in other places. I graduated now and I finished now in 2020, but 8 years later, I found it better, but we could talk about that after. But yeah, uh, education as an adult is just way better because you're way more interested in it.
Yeah, definitely.
As a teenager, again, my head was in girl skirts. It was not in school, and it wasn't even in the gym at that point. And I wanted it to be in the gym. Like I kept like popping back into Michelle's gym just to see how everyone was doing, just to tease myself really, because I'd go in there, I'd do really good on the bag, and she'd be like, yeah, let's get you a fight, let's get you going. I'm like, yeah, we're gonna do this, and then I wouldn't show up again for however long it was. So that kind of sucked. So then I just my dad actually, he like dragged me out of bed the one day because I wasn't even going to class by the end of grade 12. I knew I wasn't graduating. He knew I wasn't graduating. We didn't really, well, he cared, of course, but like I didn't really care at that point. So he's like, okay, well, if you're not going to fucking do anything, he's like, why don't you come to the gym with me? I'm like, okay. So again, we started going Fit for Less when it opened there. And my first thing I told him was, Dad, I don't want to get too big. I want to go back to boxing. Boxing is my end goal. I was like, that. That's what I want to do. And he's like, hey, you're not going to get too big. Trust me. He's like, well, I'll teach you what I know, and you're not going to get too big. First 3 months, I went from 140 to 165, and it was lean. And it's beginner gains because I'd never really been really heavy into lifting and all that stuff, and I felt great. And then after that, it was boxing had kind of left my mind because after I saw the 20-pound gain, I was like, well, now I just want to get huge. Like the strength came, everything was there. Who cares about boxing? Boxing wasn't big and there again. The people I was boxing with, they were either moving away or like switching clubs or they were pro now. So it was like, what am I going to do if I go back to boxing right now? So my mindset was get big and get girls to like me. 19-year-old Lucas, 18-year-old Lucas, whatever it was, I don't remember, grade 12 slash the year or two afterwards. And yeah, I just, even my 19th birthday, I spent 6-7 hours in the gym. I can't remember. I literally went out to the parking lot, not even with buddies. I had liquor literally in my car alone, and I'd take shots, get drunk in the fucking parking lot. And I invited a bunch of my buddies. They came to the gym at different times, joined me, and I worked out for 7 hours. Got drunk, sweated out. Got drunk, sweated out. It was obsessive.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I knew what I was doing was going against it, but it was my 19th birthday. I wanted to do both things I wanted to do.
Yeah.
So
That's the struggle, man. That's the struggle of like pretty much from when you're a teenager to like mid 20s.
yeah,
Like that's the battle. That's why like I always respect people who like figure it out like at like 19, 20.
yeah.
Because it took me till like 27.
Same here.
Yeah.
Probably later,
When
honestly,
I see like a 21, 22-year-old who
has their
has like
shit
slowed
together,
down on drinking already or doesn't drink and is like going towards something, I'm just like, dang, you're cool.
right?
Yeah.
And those are like some of the younger guys that I can actually talk with and relate with a little bit. Cause like, you're not talking to a concrete wall at that point.
Yeah.
Because a lot of those times when you're having those conversations with those people, I don't know about you, but usually with me, it's like, don't make the same mistakes I did, man.
Yeah, yeah,
Don't do what I did. And every older person does that. I heard it a million times when I was younger. I heard it while I was doing the bad things. Everyone's like, stop doing what you're doing. You know what you're doing wrong. And I'm like, man, you're stupid.
yeah.
I'm the smartest guy around here. What are you talking about?
That's exactly it, man.
You don't say that stuff, but it goes on in your head, of course. It's that inner voice.
So out of the three, uh, uh, bodybuilding, strongman, and boxing, which one is your favorite?
Boxing. For generalized fitness, strongman. For overall, like, it's hard because I don't really put them in the same category. Boxing to me, is a martial art, and martial arts to me isn't really. It is working out, but it's conditioning the body and conditioning the mind. You're learning a discipline of a sort, and that's what boxing is to me. Yeah, you're getting an exercise, but it's not the same thing as lifting weights. You're not trying to get stronger. You're not trying to get leaner with boxing. You're trying to make yourself a better fighter, in my opinion.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And that doesn't fit the same category, because with strongman for me is building yourself up and building up the community. Because when I was introduced with strongman, I had just left, like, kind of like dwindle away from bodybuilding, because I'd found out how much steroids I would have to take to really go the next level in bodybuilding, and I did not want to take that because I was already on probably $300-400 of steroids a month.
Nice.
So for them to say, I'm going to be spending 600 to 1,000 plus a month in prep, and then your prep for your 3 months is going to cost an extra 25,000 in food and steroids as well. It wasn't worth it to me. And I didn't want to do the natural bodybuilding thing, because personally to me, most natural bodybuilders don't look that great. They don't look great until they're on the world stage. And then when they're on the world stage, that's when I think they look really, really good. Those guys look amazing. But I'm not arrogant enough to think that I can make it to that level when I had already been dabbling in stuff. I didn't want to be that guy that had already done stuff, taken a few years off, and then gone to the natural competition, because everybody does that. Or some of them, at least, they'll just cycle in the off season and they'll go to the natural competitions. I didn't want to be that guy. I've always been open about my usage. I haven't used in years about that. But like, I'm not going to lie about it.
Right.
That's a really big thing to me. So then I was introduced to the sort of strongman again, 2.0, after I messed my knee up, with a different group of people. I met Gary McDonald. I already knew him from the gym because he was coaching the Special Olympics powerlifting team in Ironworks. So I'd seen him many times, and a few of the guys kind of made fun of his strongman group, saying, "Oh, it was for the beginners and whatnot." And when I hurt myself and I wanted to leave bodybuilding, I had to like re-look at myself and think of myself as a beginner. So then I approached him and I asked if I can join his group and they could teach me the proper way of strongman. Not just the lift stupid heavy things just to impress everybody. And I started going to the alleyway strongman, which he put on in the alleyway of his house over on Broadway, and we'd lift there every Sunday for 2 hours, and he'd teach just a couple things. He'd teach yoke, whatever he wanted to teach that week. We'd have a group of 5 to maybe 15 people on certain days, and it was just teaching. Everyone was encouraging everyone, and everyone wanted everyone to do well. And I'd never seen that in sport since boxing, because that was the last time I'd seen that kind of sportsmanship. Everything else is like, I'm better than you. And from what I'd seen from bodybuilding, that was very much like that too. And powerlifting, same thing. You have the West Side Barbell guys who are like, oh, we're the strongest club in the world, blah, 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 blah. I hated that attitude. I thought it was so dumb. So then when I saw the strongman group, like the alleyway strongman group, just wanting to get everybody better, and that's how I saw the sport of strongman. I was like, that's amazing. I want this to be a big thing. I want people to just everyone to learn strongman. And we ended up, there was a gym that opened up, Black Anvil, and we ended up teaching people on Sundays beginner strongman. And more people, we had groups of 20 people some days. Like, it was ridiculous. And we would have normal people, like 100-pound women, come in there and flip a 300-pound tire, and they would just be amazed, because a lot of that isn't so much you're weaker than that. You just don't understand how to lift it properly. And so when you teach someone proper technique and show them they can lift that thing, it builds their confidence up so much. And then they suddenly join in on that big thing of encouraging you as well. And it just builds the environment. And so that was really what I wanted to spread with everything. And even in boxing too, when I came back to boxing, I wanted that same general attitude, and I feel like you do a really good job of embodying that in your gym. You make everybody feel included. Yeah, you give your jokes and you razz people and all that stuff. That's you. That's how you are. But there's never a moment where you make someone feel unwelcomed in your club. And that's what made me really stick to you, is because like I didn't feel put off to the side when I came to join you. When you asked me, it was, how are you? Who are you? What do you want to learn? How much do you know? Can you teach me some stuff? It was that really sparked that strongman attitude to me again, and that's why I wanted to come back to that and kind of combine the two in a way. And three, I guess, if you count bodybuilding, but I don't like.
I do feel like boxing is similar,
Right?
where it's like everyone's competing against each other. Instead of like trying to make Saskatoon really good at boxing,
Yeah.
it's like my gym is really good at boxing,
Yeah.
and it's like stay away from that gym, or that gym's like.
Unfortunately,
like,
I think that's with every sport,
it's
though.
with every sport.
Yeah, because even strongman, I'm talking like it's amazing, and like there's no bad gyms around. There are, I've had, unfortunately, that gym I was talking about, they're no longer open because of that attitude. They had that we're better than everybody else attitude, especially one of the owners, and it ended up costing them in the end. But for the most part, the remaining gym, there's singular. No, there's two now. There's just one. There's just Barbarian. Hey, trying to think for strongman, or does Rise do strongman now too?
No, I think they just bring
Strongman equipment in.
Yeah, that what's his name in
Tom.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Tom's a good guy.
Yeah.
He's strong. He's really strong.
But there's that one Maxo.
Maxo isn't a strongman gym though. They have their strong woman. They have Jackie, but I believe all the strongman equipment's hers that she has brought there. I'm not 100% on that. Don't quote me on that.
That's where Jared does some training too.
Yeah. That's Jackie's main gym. Like she gym hopped for a little bit. She's she had a hard time really fitting into certain gyms, because being the second strongest woman in the friggin' world, it's really hard to find your niche group of people to train with. You have your power lifters and stuff, but how many strong women do you know in Saskatoon? There's only a few, and they all train in the same gym, or they all know each other, and they can get catty too. So like she had a really hard time fitting into certain gyms. I remember when I was training with her too, like we had a lot of cat talks about that kind of stuff while we were training in the same gyms. It's like, oh, well, this person's bugging me. Oh, well, this person's bugging me. This person was watching me while I'm doing a log. And it's like, I'm just trying to do a log. So like, I imagine her finding her home in Max Out and like it being that kind of closed off gym. I don't believe they have that attitude of being the best gym. I think that they just know they have some of the best equipment and the best attitude in general as far as training goes. So it's a good home for her at the end of the day.
Right.
And they really embraced her.
Yeah.
Whereas some of the other gyms that she trained at didn't embrace her.
I've only been there a couple of times, but it seems like a good culture there.
It is.
Like
I've trained same thing. I've only trained there a couple times. My buddy Chris, my former coworker, he invited me there twice, and honestly, it's all the equipment from Mawson. And I used to work out at Mawson way back when I worked at the Scuzz, because we all got free memberships if you worked at the Scuzz, because the owner was the same. So I've played with that equipment before, and honestly, I missed it so much because I love that old school iron equipment, which is what Ironworks still has that, which is awesome. But yeah, it's a good gym. It is Max Out's a really good gym.
It threw me off everything in KG.
Oh yeah.
I was like, how much is this? Who am I lifting?
Yeah. You'd think you'd be used to KG with boxing, especially too, because a lot of that stuff's in KG.
Because I always when I'm sending my fighters, I always send it in pounds.
And they're like, "What's that in KG?"
Like, send that back in KG. I'm like,
fine.
We're in Canada.
We're in Canada. We use the metric system, which is KG.
No. No.
I know, we're so weird because we still use, height in feet.
Yeah.
And like, I still think about my weight in pounds. But like, if you go to like East Coast, when I boxed in Halifax, everyone knew their weight in kg.
Yeah.
Like right away. And I'm like, how? Like I maybe weigh myself in kg for the fight, and that's it. And I never remember. Yeah.
Or convert it. I do it in pounds and just convert it quick on Google.
I had to, when I was in Strongman, same thing. The weight classes were in kg, so I'd always be converting. Like I was in the under 90 kilo category, which they still haven't brought back in Canada. US has it. UK has it, but for whatever reason, they got rid of it in Canada, which really pisses me off because you have to jump from under 80 kg, which is 176, to all the way up to 105 kg, which is 231 pounds. That's your category. You can either go under 176 or over 231. It's like, there's what?
It's probably Trudeau or something.
Thanks, Obama. Yeah, no.
Okay, so then out of the three, which one was mentally the hardest?
Mentally, boxing 100%. It's the making weight for boxing, and you know that too. It was easy when I went back and I did the 200-pound fight because honestly, that took all the stress out of it. Right. And having it in Saskatoon too, honestly, took a lot of stress out of it. I thought that was going to add the stress. Right. But it made me so much more calm because I was able to be at my house the night before. I was able to go see Gary, my strongman coach, right before the fight to talk about my knees because I was having issues. It just calmed everything down. But cutting weight is the most mentally grueling thing any person could ever do, and I would never wish it on anybody. No, like you can prep for bodybuilding and all that stuff, and yeah, you're a zombie on low calories, but in boxing, you're doing that really quick and you're fighting that night. Yeah. Unless it's a pro fight, then you get your day, whatever it is, but you're fighting that night. You're rehydrating and then you're getting right into it.
You're going max out.
And yeah, you're going all out and you're having a person go all out at you too. So like, it's definitely the toughest, the most mentally draining, all of it is boxing 100%.
I think it's crazy, like for you, because all the things that you competed in or like did at a decently high level, are all sports that everything relies on you.
Yeah.
Nothing you did was a team sport where you can like blame other people. Everything was like, all right, this was my fault.
Man, I'm kind of glad I didn't play a lot of team sports. Like I played non-contact hockey. I know a boxer plays non-contact hockey, makes absolutely no sense, but I was a bit of a wuss when I was younger, and my dad definitely recognized that. And he decided to put me in non-contact. He offered to put me back into, or not back in. He offered to put me into contact. I think on my like second year, but I think by that time I'd already kind of decided I didn't like hockey. So I was just playing it for him, really. And so I played a couple more years, and then finally one day he's just like, "Oh, are we signing up this year?" And I just, no, it's not for me. Team sport wasn't for me because, not because, yeah, I just never got along with teams in general. I was always the sidelined one in my hockey team, and maybe that was just me, but I didn't get along with the whole team aspect, and like I got made fun of a lot again because I was fat, and so like I tried really hard to be a better player as a fat kid, and I did okay, but like I didn't get out of it what I wanted out of it, you know, because like I think everybody, or not everybody, I think the people that play hockey and like playing hockey have some sort of aspirations to go further, or they want to continue it as like a beer league thing or whatever. They love the sport.
Yeah,
I didn't have a love for the sport. I was playing it for my dad and my mom. My mom wanted to be a hockey mom. She really wanted to be a football mom. Sorry, mom. Um, but what I wasn't playing it for me. I
yeah.
found no joy in it. I even, yeah, no, it just wasn't for me.
So for the sports, for strongman, even for bodybuilding, even though you didn't go on the stage, and then for boxing, like obviously it takes, as you know, like a lot of discipline. Because a lot of times, especially like boxing maybe is a little bit different because even though it's you are one on one in there, usually you're not training by yourself.
No.
But like I feel like bodybuilding and strongman, you are probably training by yourself a lot more than normal.
Yeah, and you have to again, it's a discipline thing. You have
Yeah.
to force yourself to
So
train a
where does
lot.
that so where does that discipline come from? If you're training every day, how you used to train,
Yeah.
it's not like every day you want to train. Or
No,
did you want to train every day?
I did want to train every day back then. I had that drive and that attitude, and I had that Arnold. Well, I did not say I had. I learned that Arnold Schwarzenegger mentality. The what he said in the original Pumping Iron. He was like when his dad died. You ever seen Pumping Iron?
No, but you keep telling me to watch it, and I haven't yet.
I have a copy, and it's on YouTube Premium if you want. But anyways, in Pumping Iron, Arnold talks about when his dad died, and I don't know how true this actually was because I've read statements that he's pulled back this whole thing, and this was just for show. But one of the things he said was he was preparing for the Mr. Olympia, and he got a phone call about I can't remember how far out that his dad had died in Austria, and that they wanted him to go fly back there to go for the funeral, and he said, "No, I'm training for Mr. Olympia. I can't." And he didn't even go, and he didn't go to birthdays, no none of that. So I kind of adopted that mentality when I got into bodybuilding. Like, this is how you be great. This is what the great guy, the one of the best guys in the world, said to do. So that's how I have to think. So I'd skip my sister's birthdays, all that stuff, just to go work out, and it became like toxic because even when Mary and I started dating, her family treated me to a trip to Disney. Well, where the fuck am I supposed to work out? And she's like, well, you're on holidays. You don't need to work out. I'm like, I need to work out. I can't not work out. You don't understand. And it turned into like multiple fights. So her brother-in-law like got his, or not her brother-in-law, sorry, her brother, my brother-in-law, he got he got the gym already at his house for me to train. He had adjustable dumbbells and a squat rack and a barbell and enough weight for me to push around to, at least get a decent workout in. And he had a boxing bag, but I wasn't really boxing heavy when I went there the first time. So I hit it a little bit just to have some fun, but I didn't know what I was doing anymore. um, and then when we went to Disney, because we stayed at the resort, I was lucky. And I guess all the resorts there have their own gyms. Thank goodness Disney has that kind of money. They had a max weight of like 55 pounds on their dumbbells, but they had enough equipment for me to get those workouts in. Well, so like I did that for years. I don't know how many years I did that for. I didn't skip workouts at all, like for anything. Birthdays weren't, nope, I have to go. I'll come after. Friend was inviting me to something, I'll come after my workout. Or just come watch me work out, or we could talk during my workout kind of thing. It was that mentality that I had to do it no matter what. And if I missed it, I was working out twice the next day. And it was, and I would punish myself. Like I would work out heavy the next day. It's like, oh, you fat piece of shit. What are you doing? Like you just wasted all that energy yesterday. You're definitely recovered now. Let's push it harder than you should have.
Right.
And then I'd end up hurting myself or something, and I'd end up tweaking something, just train through it. Cause I had that mentality. It was like, you just, if you miss any days for this recovery stuff, you're losing progress.
Mm-hmm.
And it was so toxic. I don't know. I think I only stopped doing that just a few years ago. And I say a few years ago, probably like COVID. COVID's
Yeah.
probably what did it, honestly. What
Kind of like forced you to slow down.
it did. It really did, because I believe during like pre-COVID, I was still training every day at Anytime Fitness, because I was working on Central Avenue, and Anytime Fitness was in University Heights. So I'd just go there right after work, and I'd make Mary go with me. Like she used to be my training partner every single day. I'd make her go with me. Even if she didn't want to be there, she had to be there because I would get mad at her. Believe me, it was not nice.
Mm-hmm.
I was not a good person for that. But yeah, when COVID hit and like gym regulations really shut down, it really took that into account of, okay, if you want to work out every day, you kind of have to force yourself to like be innovative in a way. And then it kind of came to a point, it's like, what am I doing this for anymore? And because pre-COVID, even, yeah, no, I was training every day because it was Anytime Fitness, and then I was boxing at Black Star 2 days a week, and I was getting ready to come back for a fight. Chad was putting on a card in the back of Black Star there. I was supposed to headline it. It was going to be great. Johnny was talking it up, everything like that. I wasn't even going to cut weight. I was just going to fight heavyweight. Just said, screw it. I just come off Strongman. I was still really big, and I still hitting hard harder than ever. And then, yeah, I know COVID hit. He shut down the gym. None of us were really boxing anymore. I don't know how long it took us to actually get the stuff going in COVID. I don't remember how long into COVID we were when we started doing that.
Probably like a year
Yeah,
or a bit.
because
So
I wasn't boxing for a while.
so how I met Lucas was I got a call from uh, Gary Copus, and he pretty much said to me, Cole, I need you to come spar this guy. He keeps beating the shit out of all my boxers. So I came to this garage where they were sparring uh, during COVID. Fight Club. Not supposed to talk about it, but
We talk about it a lot.
but we talk about it a lot. And yeah, so I came and we did like probably like 6 rounds.
Something like
It was
that. I didn't
crazy.
last a lot because my cardio was shit after taking a year off.
Yeah, but I got rocked hard. You rocked me hard. I dropped him with a body shot, and then he got up, and it was like 30 seconds left, and he just blitzed me. Freaking rocked me hard. It was fun.
I didn't, well, two things with that sparring. One, I didn't know how to control my power when I came back. You know that. You felt it. I had a really hard time controlling my power. Even when Gary would try to throw me in there with light guys, I would throw like they were big guys, and suddenly their nose was bleeding after two punches, and I'm like, what? So I really had to learn how to control my power fast. And two, mentally, I did not know how to control my mental game in the ring. Taking so many years off of sparring, really, I lost that ability to stay calm when I got hit. And I have it back now, thank goodness. But like that, it took us, even like working with you after COVID, it took us a long time to work that out of me, because I'd get frustrated and start throwing hard punches. And it's just, you're not trying to kill that guy. He's just outboxing you.
Like
And
a lot
he's
of
not trying to kill you
a
either.
lot of apologizing.
Yeah, yeah.
That first year you came
Yeah,
back.
yeah. There was a lot of pre-sparring talks by Cole. All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you need to understand, Lucas is 200 pounds. There's a bit of a weight difference here.
Yeah.
And yeah, no, and that talk wasn't for everybody. Of course, it was just for me, but he'd say it was for everybody.
Good times.
We're good. I'm good at that. I'm better at controlling my power now. I throw a lot lighter than I used to. I only throw hard in the ring now, like
Yeah.
in for fights, or in the belly if we're doing belly shots, which we haven't done in a long time, honestly.
No.
No,
Yeah. It's been well. Summer's been real slow. It
yeah,
always slows down. Uh, but just in general, I feel like me and Cass have just been like running a lot.
You guys have. I've been seeing a lot of the posts with that and whatnot, so
Yeah.
that's
So it
okay.
just like shifts, I'm the same as you, as like I get into things and then like I do it and then I need to find something new
Yeah.
and then do that and then find something new and then do that.
Yeah.
And it is hard for me to focus on one thing for a long time. I get bored easy.
It's an ADHD tendency, my boy.
Yeah, well, no.
No.
No, I'm perfect. Another thing I wanted to talk to you or ask you about or get you to talk about, I guess, is your mindset when you came back and you had that fight. Um, like obviously it was how long since you fought?
Over a decade, yeah.
Yeah, so like a long time since you had that fight, and your mentality is different. You're not a kid anymore. You're even like your love for boxing like changed because you
Very
understood you
much.
understood it better.
Yeah.
uh and honestly, like your size with your fighting at 130, 125, like that speed is still there, and your
Kinda.
movement
Kinda. I'm
kind
watching
of.
old videos myself. I definitely was a lot faster.
Yeah.
But that being said, yeah, I'm fairly, especially my lead hand. I'm
For your
fairly,
size.
for
For
my
your
size, I'm
size.
fairly fast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like, what was your mindset, training, getting back in the ring, winning? What was
Um,
that like for you?
I don't know. I just really, as I told you when I first came back, like, uh, everybody has to understand here that when I first came back comparatively to when I fought was, I think, what, a year and a half to 2 year difference of me hemming and hawing actually fighting. So like when I first came back, it was for selfish reasons. I had seen my old sparring partner Logan Cloutier go pro, and I was like, man, I used to beat this little puke up. I think I could do better than him. I'm going to go back and show that I'm better than him, kind of thing. So that's originally why I came back. And I came back to your gym because we'd had those talks about me wanting to continue boxing in a different mindset. So yes, I came back with the wrong mindset, but I was willing to learn a little bit more when I came back. And I think me learning that I had to rebox or relearn how to box as a 200-pound guy compared to a 130 guy um, really helped me take my arrogance down a level and really take me down a notch, because I wasn't in there just doing what I wanted with anybody anymore. Like, yeah, at 130, I can't say I was dominating guys, because if you have a 130 guy hit a 200-pound guy, it's honestly, even as hard as he can, he's probably barely going to feel it. But back then, I would throw in bunches. I would throw lots of punches, sting, get out. I can't do that anymore. You see me, I'll throw one, two, sometimes three. Sometimes. I know you want me to throw that three a little bit more, but yeah, it's usually 1, 2 kind of thing. And I try to get to the side, but I have to stay in the pocket as a 200-pound guy. I can't keep jumping out. Otherwise, I'm dead by 30 seconds. So I had to relearn completely what boxing was for me. Because before it was me just jumping around, dancing around. Well, now I could incorporate the dancing, but it's a different style of fighting completely. And I don't know. Going going from thinking you're a master of something to like realizing you're not, I think is what really did it. Because when I left boxing, I left because I was cocky. I was sparring people. I was what I thought was dominating people in sparring. Nobody was fighting me because I was jumping around weights, and Michelle couldn't actually get a consistent weight from me. So she wasn't willing to get me fights. And I took that as, she doesn't want to get me fights. Everyone was against me. That was my attitude when I left boxing. Whereas they weren't actually against me. I was just a cocky teenager who thought he was better than everybody, who needed to get beat up or smartened up somehow. And I didn't get beat up. I ended up just losing my way for a little bit and then relearning it. And yeah, it's a lot different as a big guy learning how to fight. And then when you I think accidentally hurting people too really shifted that. Because when you want to have fun and spar with people
Yeah,
and you hit them just a little too hard when you didn't mean to, and they go down or they're bloody or something, it really is like, oh my God, you need to learn how to control that, because I want to keep doing this and I want them to keep doing this. And me keep doing that isn't it? They're not thinking, oh man, that guy's tough. That guy's so cool. They're thinking, man, that guy's a dick.
yeah, yeah.
Like,
And I think that's like a testament to like who you are as a person, because there's people at the gym who don't think that way at all. You
there's
know,
people in life that don't
there's
think that
people
way at
in life.
all.
And that's where honestly I think you're where even with being a personal trainer, like you're very genuine, you're a very nice guy, and I think that shows in kind of like all areas of your life.
I try to. I know I'm not perfect. I'm not claiming to be the perfect messiah, saint, anything like that. I have lapses.
Yeah, yeah,
I lose my shit a lot. Trust me, ask my coworkers. It's doing mechanical and getting your fingers stuck in things. You tend to yell a lot, or if you get overbooked, I yell a lot, particularly me. Um, it's just a matter of actually understanding when not to, well, like when recognizing when you are being like that. And I think that's the big thing about it, is trying to be better in those situations, and after those situations especially, and how you handle those situations after, because you can't just pretend those little things don't happen,
mm,
and to me, a lot of the people I was surrounded by when I was younger didn't embody those things. They would say bad things, they would do bad things, and you would just have to pretend it didn't happen. There was no apology afterwards. There was no nothing like
right.
that. So I didn't like that. So I didn't want to be like that. I always kind of lived by that mentality: be who you needed when you, or be the person you needed when you were little. Um, and I needed me. I wish I had one of me when I was a kid. I wish I had that guy who'd take me to the gym if I wanted to go to the gym. I wish I had that guy who'd play video games with me if I wanted to play video games. I didn't have that big brother aspect or that father aspect. My dad wasn't really into the things I was, aside from working out.
Even
And
just like having guidance instead of like someone who's just condescending is so different.
it is. It
It's
really
so
is.
it's so helpful.
Someone who takes the time to teach you something instead of just making fun of you in the moment. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's the whole, not I say it's Ted Lasso, but it's not his quote. It's Walt Whitman's quote. The whole "be curious, not judgmental."
Mm.
Always be curious.
I
So
thought
like,
you were gonna say I'm the one who knocks.
that's from Ted Lasso.
Walt Whitman. Or
Is that?
Walt no, Walt from freaking Breaking Bad.
Oh, I've actually never seen that show.
Oh, what the heck?
I know Mary really wants me to see it. She's like, it's one of the best shows, but I feel like it's dated
Is that
now.
his name on that show?
Walter White.
Oh, Walter White.
Walter White. Yeah, I know that, yet I've never seen it.
Man, I watched it once.
No, yeah, no.
But go on. Cut you off
Oh,
there.
you're good, man. I gotta watch that show. That just reminds me of that.
Yeah.
I got shows I need to watch. But yeah, if you ever want to like learn more about my coaching philosophy, Ted Lasso embodies it perfectly. He's
That's
got
another show I need to watch.
that one. I would say is a absolute must watch. Just because he humanizes coaching. And that's kind of what the style I like to make. I like to take, and not so much that I want to feel like a parent to somebody, but I want to help them be better. And that's all it is, and that's what he does. If you don't know anything about Ted Lasso, he's a football coach who goes to the UK to be a soccer coach because, um, long story short, the lady who now owns the club got a divorce with her husband who formerly owned the club, and she just wanted to see it all burn. So she thought the biggest joke would be to hire a football coach as a soccer manager. And he ends up winning everybody's hearts. Sorry, didn't mean to spoil the story there, but he ends up winning everybody's hearts just through his actions and how he does, and not just his words, because he says a lot of things, of course, but it's the way he does things and the way he portrays himself throughout life that makes everybody respect him, and that ends up developing or showing in his coaching style as well. Again, must watch 100%. I know it's on Apple TV, but you can pirate it, man. I mean, no
No, no,
piracy.
no, 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 no. Okay, well, we're almost at an hour here.
Oh shoot, sorry. I was just chatting.
No, man,
I was just rambling.
nothing to be sorry for. Um, but I do have some specific questions
Please fire them
that I
off.
want to ask,
Yeah.
and they're uh, okay. So one thing we did connect on is that we're both a little bit of nerds.
You're a little bit.
I'm a little bit. You're
Yeah.
extreme.
I
You're the
look.
king.
I'm wearing a Gengar shirt. Come on.
Which I was gonna point out.
I wore that on purpose,
That is
of
a
course,
great
because
shirt.
I know you love Pokemon and I love Pokemon. Gengar's my favorite Pokemon. I was born in '94. Pokemon number 94. Gengar. Just makes sense.
Oh, yeah.
That's not the reason I love him. That's just another reason to love him.
Yeah. So I got these questions on Pokemon.
Oh yes, let's go.
Okay.
Yeah.
And they're not like knowledge on Pokemon. It's like
General curiosity.
I'll ask the first one, and you'll kind of see.
Okay.
So Ash didn't always win his gym battles by brute strength. Sometimes it was through compassion, strategy, or personal growth. In your athletic journey, have there been moments where winning wasn't about being the strongest, but about mindset or emotional resilience?
In my athletic journey, was there a moment where it wasn't about being the strongest? It was about determination, mindset, and resilience.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know because, again, with my athletic background, it was always competitive to a sense. But if I had to think of like one moment where it really wasn't strength, this isn't like determination or anything like that. It was me. It was provincials in 2018. There, I actually posted a video of it today. Not the event that I did, but the show I'm talking about. We had a farmer's carry, or sorry, a yoke. It was a 600-pound yoke. You had to walk it 120 feet, and then a farmer's carry of 230 pounds per hand, and you had to walk that back the 130 feet or 120 feet. Sorry. And I was going against the best guy in Saskatchewan. He was going to destroy me. The only thing I knew was that my grip on those farmers carry wasn't going to give out, because I have that mindset of if I'm going to hold on to it, I'm not letting go. I have that kind of grit. So when we picked up those yokes, he took off. I have video of this. He took way off, flew by me. He was way ahead of me. He had time to chalk up on the other side before I actually got there and grab. And he was already on his way back with the farmers carry things. I don't know what you call it, cylinders. Farmers carry cylinders. He was already on his way back when I got there. So I got there. The yoke smacked the back of my head when I let it go, because I let the bottom of it, or the back of it, down first. So the front just went bang right against the back of my head. Saw stars for a half a second, quickly grabbed the farmer's carries, and I just looked down instead of just looking straight. I just looked down and I started walking. And I wasn't going fast by any means. I was just walking. I'm like, the only goal I have in this is to just not let go. I don't care if he beats me, because I know he's going to beat me. He's going to go way, way faster than me. I'm just not going to let go. And so I started walking, and he got about to the halfway mark, and he dropped them like in like a really exaggerated fashion, because I think he had sweaty hands. So he slips out of his one hand and the other one drops off to the other side. He had to regather them. And instead of re-grabbing them, he starts to re-chalk. So I kept walking. I barely even noticed, aside from I heard the clang. So I knew he had dropped. I didn't know if I was going to pass him or not. I just know he dropped. I was like, okay, he dropped. I'm not going to. This isn't heavy to me. I'm not going to drop. So I just walked it the whole way through. And sure as shit, I beat him by a few seconds. I just walked it in, going super slow. And in the video, you could see it too, because like I'm walking. He starts coming, and he's like catching right up, and I just casually same speed. That's probably the closest I find to not strategy, but that was grit that got me through that one. Mm-hmm. Mike was way stronger than me in 90% of the events. That guy was insane. I could probably beat him on a deadlift, but he tied me. because that the deadlift that year was for reps. It wasn't for a high deadlift. And dude was insanely strong. So I had no hopes of winning that event. And the fact that I won that event blew me away. And it was, again, just through grit. I just held on. And that was it. Just kept going. So yeah. Oh, there you go.
Awesome, man. That's
Hey,
good. Honestly, I think that's a perfect way to end this.
yeah.
That's a good story to end this on, man.
Thanks, man.
But thanks for coming.
Thanks for having me.
This was awesome.
I hope
Man.
it was somewhat fun.
Oh man, that was awesome, man. There's a lot of things in there that is like powerful, you know, and like that make you who you are.
Appreciate
Because
that.
I feel like you know, obviously we've uh become pretty good friends in the last since COVID.
I know you
You
always
know,
tell people that I'm just your, business friend or whatever,
just my
maybe,
acquaintance.
just an acquaintance, but yeah, no, we are friends.
No, man, you're a really good friend, and you bring a lot of positive value to my life. You know, and you're good friends with my wife, and your wife is friends with my, like, you know, and
Dude,
we
and that's a shocker to me because my wife does not make friends easily. She does
yeah,
not play
man.
nice with others. I'm sorry. She's very much a loner, but she loves your wife, and I appreciate the love she gets back from your wife. So,
Yes, man.
and from you too, texting her about Pokemon all the time. Believe me, I appreciate it. Even I'm like, man,
She leaves me on red one more time.
listen,
But
Liz,
no, man, no, I appreciate you, man. You're a good friend, and I'm glad we met, man. So,
I'm glad we beat each other up in COVID too,
and
man.
yeah, it's awesome punching you.
All
But yeah, let's wrap it up.
right.